On the very first day of 2016, a heavily armed suicide squad slipped inside the Indian Air Force Station at Pathankot. This specific installation sits right on the edge of hostile territory. As this sign indicates, the international border with Pakistan is exactly 1 kilometer down the road, putting the base within immediate striking distance. The infiltrators had a clear and brutal objective: destroy the high-value aviation assets parked on the tarmac and inflict maximum casualties among the military personnel living on the base. By 3:45 p.m., Base Command detected the threat and triggered a red alert. Specialized units, including Air Force Garud commandos, immediately mobilized in full tactical gear to lock down the perimeter. Locking the gates was the easy part. The commanders now faced a massive logistical problem: hunting down a handful of hidden, heavily armed men across a sprawling, highly complex 2,000-acre facility as the night fell. Searching an area that large on foot, in the pitch black, would guarantee heavy losses. To neutralize the threat before dawn, the military had to abandon conventional grid sweeps and rely entirely on a technology-driven hunt. By 2:15 a.m., the sheer scale of the base and the total darkness made visual searches impossible. The ground troops were blind. To see in the dark, commanders deployed aerial drones equipped with specialized thermal imaging payloads. This animation shows exactly how the thermal sensors work. The payload filters out the dark, cool terrain of the base, cleanly isolating the radiant body heat of the hidden infiltrators. In these conditions, visual camouflage becomes entirely useless. Using this specific heat data, commanders could pinpoint exact coordinates for the ground teams. As the ground commandos rapidly closed the remaining distance, an intense, chaotic firefight broke out in the dark at exactly 4:30 in the morning. The attackers quickly found solid cover, leading to a grueling 4-hour standoff. Because the terrorists were deeply entrenched, the initial exchange of fire cost one commando his life. To break the stalemate, the Indian Air Force escalated their response. They called in an attack helicopter to rain down heavy machine gun fire directly onto the terrorists' hiding spots. Pushing ground troops into a fortified position held by a suicide squad was simply too costly. Breaking the gridlock required abandoning symmetric ground combat and leveraging overwhelming localized aerial superiority to force the attackers out. By 5:30 p.m., the immediate gunfire had ceased. But as troops moved in to clear the area, they hit a deadly, invisible roadblock: rigged corpses. The infiltrators operated under a strict suicide doctrine. They deliberately concealed improvised explosive devices and active grenades under their own bodies, specifically designed to detonate and kill the bomb disposal crews sent to recover them. This tactic had devastating consequences. During the recovery process, a concealed grenade detonated, severely injuring a major and killing Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan of the bomb disposal squad. With the base still on lockdown, the sweeping operations continued across the massive compound. Eventually, forces converged on a barricaded, locked dormitory. This diagram illustrates the next technological advantage. Instead of immediately kicking down the door, troops deployed through-wall surveillance equipment. The sensor waves penetrated the concrete barrier, revealing 2 moving heat signatures inside the closed room. As the commandos moved into position outside, the men inside tossed a grenade out at them. The blast injured the squadron commander and several members of his team. The commanding officer made a harsh tactical calculation. Sending men through the doorway, a fatal funnel, against waiting suicide fighters, would result in more casualties. Instead, they threw Molotov cocktails into the structure, engulfing the entire building in flames. Faced with a barricaded suicide squad that had already injured 5 men, the command shifted the objective. Igniting the building neutralized the final attackers, while preventing further casualties in a high-risk structural breach. Finally, on January 6th at 8 a.m., after 48 hours of grueling sweeps across every inch of the complex, the Pathankot Airbase was declared fully secure. Search teams recovered high-yield IEDs and incendiary materials from the attackers. The sheer volume of explosives proved this was a highly coordinated, long-planned mission designed to entirely gut India's military assets on the base. Defeating an assault of this magnitude required seamless coordination across multiple agencies. Army troops, Air Force assets, and elite anti-terror units like the National Security Guard all had to operate under a single unified command. A squad of just a few men managed to freeze one of the region's most important military installations, requiring a massive multi-day deployment of personnel and heavy machinery to isolate and eliminate them. Securing a 2,000-acre facility against suicide squads demands the rapid integration of thermal sensors, aerial suppression, and specialized arm disposal. To win here, the military had to outmatch the attacker's intent with superior technical and tactical depth.